Good afternoon, YouTubers. Just thought I'd come on and do a video of my load development so far on my 6.5 Creedmoor. So I've got my little recipe book here, found pretty handy. Just got basic details, SAMI spec on the first page, case length, cartridge overall length. Paradigm using VIT N560, primers a Magtech large rifle, cases are Hornady once fired from the ELDM 140s I've been shooting. So I've got around 400 of those cases. Make our way through those. Trim to length, at the moment I'm sitting at 1.9 and 1.5. That's a seating die, that was my initial load. Process, charge data, that was my initial load. And here's my initial load data from the first OCW test. Started at 41 grains, near enough 10% below maximum. I've got my first shots. I mean, going forwards, I think if I did this again, I wouldn't start that low. I would start around there somewhere, probably 42. So from that initial load test, 43.1, got 5.4 ES, and actually the best group on that one was 43.1. That's probably the best group I've ever shot, a 3-round group. But as you can see, trying to find a node around the 43 mark, it's not far off. If you sort of exclude that shot, that group there, and there, they're all within the same sort of area. What I didn't realise after that, I went on a bit of a velocity hunt, fell in that trap. So I then loaded up some at 44 grains, which is max, 44.2, 44.4. I then did what I shouldn't have done really, which was then play with seating depth on that load. I loaded 20 thou off the lands using the Loctite method. So found my jam point, then measured back off. 15 thou off there. I think I went a bit short. I think I actually went with 20 thou just to get mag feed. So my second batch was overall length 2.859, cartridge based at ogive 2.248, and this was these were bloody dogs barking. Anyway, these were the results from that shoot. Tight groups, there was 5 and 6 round groups. SDs only just under 10, not great, but there's quite a bit of difference. That one's pulling over to the right slightly up there. That one's got a bit of vertical dispersion. That one's got vertical and coming to the left. So we did some discussion from one of our friends that I shoot with. He had a look and he said that actually probably around 43 from the initial test was probably where I should be looking at with the best node. And if you look around 43 there, take away 42.8, you know, the SDs were really good there. So I've tried to do that again, replicate that with the next batch. That's the results from the second batch. This was the third one. This was loaded quite deep into the case. 2.821, not massive. Bear in mind 2.8 is the book length. Got pretty good results off that. My shooting wasn't great that day, so I was feeling a bit rushed. 42.8, SD of 6.13. 13, 15.6, but again 42.8, it's a fairly decent 4-shot group. That one pulled that one, got a nice one there and around there. So I mean, dispersion wise, there's not that much vertical on that, apart from there, that top one there, discount that and that, they were just sighters at the start of the day. And yeah, results were fairly good on that. Again, coming back down to 42.8, had pretty good SD with that. Velocity's probably a bit lower than where I want it really, but I'm just going to have to settle with it, I think. You're shooting out of a 24-inch tube, if you can see that a bit better. So I've loaded some up at 43. I'm going to play around, and I've now done a seating depth test. So I loaded those up this morning, ranging from 2.190 up to 2.235. So I'll close that gap up from where I was before. This is cartridge based at ogive. So our previous results, our previous seating depths or 2.248, which is the longest. So I'm just about 8 thou off that. I also loaded some in just for sighters, just so I can get. So I've just cleaned it, give it a deep clean. So I've just done a. I'm going to load up 5 of those just to foul it up a little bit. But yeah, now I'll move on to a spreadsheet that I've done. So I like to write all this down, and I also keep it on a spreadsheet because I still don't really trust technology, and I like to write it down as well. So I've got a bit of a library of all the work I've done with it. It's a bit easier to look at. So yeah, I'll switch over now to a screen recording, and I'll show you the spreadsheets I've done and also a little graph I made. So here is the spreadsheet versions of what I've been doing, or what I've just shown you on the on my little book. So that's my initial load test. Details there on my powder. So yeah, it's basically the same as what was in the book, but I've got a table on here where I've done my standard deviation calculations there, so it brings it up automatically. ES, and I've done another chart there with a little formula for how many powder charges had an SD of less than 10. So once I completed that, I then threw that all into a little graph just to make it a bit easier. Well, I quite like playing around with Excel. I used to hate Excel, but now I actually quite like it. Now I'm actually learning to use it for something I enjoy doing. Easy view there, you can see 43.1 close SD, 44 from 43.1 onwards. It's fairly tight, which showed in the table anyway. Then I went with seating depth test. This is when I started chasing velocity. Wasted a bit of ammo, wasted a bit of time doing it. Shouldn't have really done it, to be honest. Just trying to get up with what I was getting out of factory ammo, which was normally around 2610 as an average. You can see there 9.2 ES SD, which yeah, okay, is good, but either side of it, yeah, the groups weren't the best. Then I moved on to one I shot recently, which was back down to the charge I did before. You see there SD, best one 42.8. I mean, it was only one shot less than the rest. Don't know why I had one shot less in that. 25.11 average. So I mean, I'm still sitting around between 25.11 and 25.62 across those 0.8 grain different powder charges. But I think I've reloaded now, so I'm at 43, and I've done a seating depth test. So I'll do that on Friday and see where we go. I'll update with anything else I find and I don't find, and it could be back to the bench for some more testing. We don't know. Hopefully not. It's costing me a lot. But yeah, we'll see. That's that one. So I'm just going to do another video now just of my bench setup and what I've got coming this week that's going to change it up a little bit and make it a bit better. So, got a new Reading Big Boss 2 last week, single stage press. Was before I was using that Lee turret press, which I got on an auction, which came with a box full of stuff, which has been okay, but I wanted a bit of a more solid single stage. This is an absolute beast. I love the way the primer catcher works. Comes down to that tube, you can either put it into a bucket or a tube fill up. So yeah, it's a brilliant press, very smooth, get a lot of torque on it. What I've got coming this week is an aluminium plate, so I'm going to do away with this bit of wood. I've got a bit of 400mm aluminium plate, 15mm thick I think it is. I'm going to drill and tap fixing holes for this press and the turret press that go next to it. So I'm going to keep the turret press for trimming. I've got a bullet puller and any other sort of dirty work that's going to go on. I'm going to keep this just for decapping, resizing and seating. So the aluminium plate is going to go across. I'm going to countersink the bolts through to that. That's going to fix through the bench. A bit of ply underneath to spread the load on this bench. It's not the thickest. And then the aluminium plate sits on top, drill and tap, fix these on. That means I can then take these off as and when I need. If I need more space to do some work to my gun, I can unbolt them pretty easily, clear the space, haven't got studs sticking up. So yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be pretty good. It's going to tidy this area up a bit, make it a bit stronger, then I can fix this desk down properly to the legs and it hasn't got much movement in it anyway, but I just want to spread a bit of load on the bottom and just make sure it doesn't flex too much. But yeah, that's how the reloading bench area is coming along. Starting to fill that up nicely. 3D printed some shells for it and a die holder. So yeah, really happy with it. Looks nice. But yeah, need to get on process some more brass really. I would say I'm starting to run low, but first firing I think I've got 150 cases. Oh no, I've got more than that. I primed up 120 cases ready to go, so I've probably got another 200 first fired cases. Then I'm going to start on the second fired, get them processed, get them over to my friend who has bought an amp annealer. So he's very kindly said that he'll do them at a very cheap rate for me, so I'll get 300 or so first fired cartridges and then send them over to him. So yeah, that's it really for now. I'll get some more testing done and I will do another update video. Thank you very much. Bye.